Matt, as you've probably heard, like I like to get a little bit of background, a little bit of background information.
Mm.
Since you're new to the MLA, so how long have you played the game for, man?
I've played actively since right at the end of season 7, right, like pre-season 8. I
Okay.
played like a couple of games before then, but nothing serious. I've been playing ranked actively since about mid-season 8.
Okay. And did you always play mid?
No, I've darted around a lot, from like jungle to mid to ADC to
Yeah.
mid. Mid has kind of always been my favorite, but I tend to dart around a lot.
And this year is this the first season that you're committing to mid?
Last season, like 2 months in, I started committing to mid, and
Okay.
then this is my first season starting that way.
Lovely. And
Mm.
what was the rank progression like? Like season 8, what did you get in season
Mm.
9, etc.?
Yeah, season 8, I ended silver 1,
Okay.
and was about to make the push for gold, but had too much anxiety around it and decided not to bother.
Yeah.
Season 9, I skyrocketed to plat, abusing some broken stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then season 10, I actually earned my way to plat, I
Mm-hmm.
think. And then I maintained plat again 11. And season 11, I was super busy in life, but managed to get to plat 2, which was my highest by far. I was plat 4 the other
And
seasons.
what did you play in this season?
That season, I played Echo, and Echo was my big win, and then I also played Lee Sin mid when that was overpowered, and some Senna ADC.
So only one mid laner.
Lee,
Oh, Lee mid. Sorry.
basically, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I,
but
I
Echo was
played
your bread and
some
butter.
Victor, but it wasn't very successful.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Echo is your bread and butter essentially, and now your pool right now is Echo and LeBlanc, right?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Interesting. How many games did you on LeBlanc?
Um, Overall, a couple, I want to say like 100, 150.
Okay.
Over the years, she's been one of my favorite champs, but since like seriously trying to play her in ranked for wins, like 25 or 30.
Okay. And what do you think you struggle with LeBlanc?
I generally struggle with a lack of fundamentals, I think, across my whole game. LeBlanc is no
Mm.
exception. So I get super low CS, generally low vision score, and I tend to play lost. Like I don't really know what I'm doing.
Okay. Okay. Walk me through this. So when you're coming into this lane, what's going through your mind? What was
Mm.
your thought process here?
Yeah, so I know Vex can be pretty tough for me. So I'm kind of trying to race her to the level 2 early because I know she's going to shove against me and she'll probably outpush me soon anyway, and she's like matching me. And I just want to get to level 2 and be able to trade on her before she becomes too much of a problem for me.
Okay. So you do a beautiful little W there. Usually Vexes are
Mm.
meant to start W in this matchup, but this one went E.
Mm. Yeah, I was surprised at that too. I was wondering if I'd get punished for the W. It was a bit of testing the waters, I think.
Okay, lovely. So, this matchup's all about the fear, man. It's all about that fear.
Mm.
It's going to be quite rough for you. It should be quite rough for you in pre-6. But something that you've done here, you went in before. It looks like you went in just before. No, you went in as the fear, but this Vex doesn't really know the matchup because they didn't go W. Usually what would happen, they go W, and then they go E, and then, whatever. But here, you're very fortunate. The Vex didn't, and you're able to punish quite effectively here. So well done. Nice little short trade. But yeah, this matchup usually turns around at 6. Like at 6, you can kind of go for double chain combos and you don't have to dash around as much, so Vex can't proc that passive. But pre-6, it can be a little bit nasty. She's done a really good job here, which is great. Beautiful.
I think this is generally the part of the game where I have the most idea of what I'm doing is when it's either just like fighting the person or
Yep.
trying to kill them. That's how I basically win all my games, is just
Yep.
off killing my lane opponent to them being careless.
Right, yeah. So like you would say that you're a pretty, like you feel comfortable in the early lane. Like it's intuitive to you, you would say.
Yeah. It's intuitive, but it's also sort of unconscious. I don't know what I'm doing, whether I'm doing it well or doing it poorly.
Yeah.
I just kind of do stuff and it works. And I think
Right, yeah.
I have some good things going on there, but I don't really know what I'm doing.
Right, yeah.
Right?
No, it's very important to have an element of feel involved in your play. So, like, what I would suggest... Okay, well, I'll leave it there. I'll make a note that we'll come back to this on that comment. Because that's a very important comment to really look for. Okay, so what I'll do, we'll kind of do like a bit of an overarching look at what happens and ask you a few more questions, and then we can maybe revisit a few of these moments in the game, okay?
Okay.
Because look, at the end of the day, this one is not too bad. I can see your intention. You rush your E a little bit and unfortunately miss it. And I'm assuming here you're thinking, I'm assuming you thought you were probably going to die anyway, so screw it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay, well, you do get a nice little kill. Now, you came back to lane with no pots. Is that something you do often?
I usually go corrupting, so I'm not used to buying health potions and like remembering to. Yeah, so this game, I guess I didn't really think about it.
Yeah, that's a disaster. Because, you know, you're versing someone with C-Pot and a heavy trading matchup at that, so, you know, you're going to dig yourself a little bit of a hole here.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not actually sure why I didn't have corrupting pot. I only just noticed that now, and I've watched this VOD like twice since playing it.
This was a really nice trade. Notice how Vex does not have that fear. So you're able to take a beautiful trade there and get that additional auto. So that's beautiful. Well done. That's exactly what you're looking for. Okay. And notice here again, see how Vex just used fear on the wave? So that's something you really want to like keep an eye out. Like right now, you should be, again, getting in range, looking for another trade. As soon as Vex uses fear on the wave, if she doesn't have fear available, that's go time. Okay, so I can see a bit low CS here. I mean that's also partly due to that bit of chaos that happened at level 3 or 3-4. We know that Vex does not have flash, and we have a jungler that can probably capitalize on that, which is really, really nice. Were you thinking of asking for a gank at some point, or are you doing some more chilling in the 1v1?
I think I was thinking about asking for a gank. I'm not sure if I executed on that, but I do like playing with Kindreds a lot. So I think that was probably on my mind.
Okay.
And also acknowledging that, like, it's going to be hard to kill her. Like, knowing that, just, it is still Vex.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm probably needing help if I'm going to do that at all.
Alright, so it looks like Jinx tried to go for a bit of a dive.
Got lost, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll take that. Lovely.
Yep.
Okay. So honestly, like, you've really neutralized this Vex. I mean, if she doesn't punish you, that's great. You scale fine. So this is great. Got to be a little bit careful. We don't have any vision right now. Something to keep in mind. Looks like we're shoving this out. Wave's in a little bit of an awkward location. But we do successfully crash it, which is great. Most definitely want to look for a reset here. And then we look for a play, and then we get nailed. Now, notice a few things here. I think, number one, this wave state is not where you want it in this matchup. I mean, look, LeBlanc, if you're versing a flashless the mobile mage, you probably want the wave on your side. It makes your life a lot easier. And if the wave ever is like this, you know, because LeBlanc isn't amazing at poking under tower and things like that, you only want to be doing it if your jungler's looking to actively pressure, right? Or you want to, like, roam. But none of that's happening. You don't really want to roam. You don't have... I mean, you're sitting on a lot of gold right now. So you want to get this wave in ASAP. So what I probably would have done here is, rather than going for trades onto the Vex, in a set, what you do in a second, just go for like a double distortion on the wave and just one-shot the wave and then insta reset. Like, even though it's not a cannon, like, because you're sitting on a decent amount of gold and your team has kind of come back on the map, I probably would have reset here. And even here, like, I would no way going for a trade right now for many reasons. Number one, you don't have any vision. Number two, your jungler's on Krugs right now. And number three, you're going for an all-in when you're sitting on 1,200 gold.
Yeah.
So we tick a lot of boxes here. Okay. And look, this is very normal. Like, I know exactly what sort of player you are. You're the classic intuitive player, man. You've probably played, you know, a decent amount of games over this past few years. You know, normals and things like that with friends. Yep. And you can pick up some poor habits. But also, you've probably got some great strengths. Because, you know, League is, I always say, like 70% intuitive. So you've got a lot of great intuition there. Now we just got to refine it. That's going to be the challenge over the next few months. What we're going to probably be striving to do.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm here for. I felt exactly the same way. I lack the fundamentals and the like refinement of everything, and I can get really scrappy wins, but they're not consistent. So
Yeah.
I can just kind of go all over the place.
Great. Okay, so we come back. Now notice how this Vex didn't reset.
Mm.
So what does that mean for us?
Huge, way stronger than her right now.
Well, you have a massive tempo window, right? So you have two things you can do. You can shove this out and roam, or you could pull the wave and freeze. Right? So I think this looks like a really good freeze window, man. Just freeze. Now, this unfortunately, I don't think this is going to freeze. What was your intention here? Walk me through what's going through your mind here.
My intention was probably just to try to shove out the next wave. Freezing is never really a thing I consider. It's probably just try to shove it back out and look for a room while she's reset.
Okay. Alright. Looks like we shove it out. Hover bot side. Clear a little bit of vision. Vex comes back. Here comes Kha'Zix. Now, do you remember what was going through your mind here? Or are you now kind of still going with the flow? Like, still very much trying to look for opportunistic trades and things like that?
Yeah, pretty much. I think the game is pretty slow-paced so far, so I think I'm still just trying to stay in the 1v1.
Definitely.
Hopefully push my advantage, because the player doesn't seem very comfortable, so hopefully keep up the lane.
Right,
like,
yeah,
try to build up more of a lane advantage.
And it doesn't look like you have an obvious... Like, it's not like this is a game where you have an obvious secondary win con yet, is it?
No, not yet, definitely.
Okay, Silas ends up dying. Kha'Zix shows top. This is a nice little roam window bot there, to be honest with you. See how this could have been a nice little roam window? I mean, you've...
Yeah, I think I was thinking about the gold, because last time I died to backing, like, not backing when I had a bunch of gold, so this time I tried to right that mistake.
Okay. Alright, nice. We see Kha'Zix get pushed off the rift. We end up able to steal rift. This is where you can start to take some nice trades here with a double chain. So what I'd be looking for at some point here is that you W, don't get too close though, so Vex kind of to actually get the fear off. And you can actually fit, like, even here, man, if you're postured up more aggressively like this, you can get into like W here, E, and what you can even do if Vex E's, then you can just pop back. And then you can even go again with your distortion, R distortion. And then rinse repeat. But this is what you're looking for. You really want to put yourself in a position, like here, in line with the wave, such that if Vex ever does this, you're in position, it's go time, isn't it? Like, this is illegal. Like, the fact that Vex is using fear deep in the wave, deep in the lane like this, I mean, that's illegal. And it's very rare that you're going to be using this combo. This combo here is mainly reserved for someone that is either CC'd or they're face checking you. Because the reason being is there's no advantage to going, I mean, the only advantage is that you get access to double chain here, but you don't even. So look at this. Like, if you Q then W, you're increasing the space between your characters. See what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So like, I would much rather you do W, and if you wanted to have double chain, even Q now. That way you're closer. You know, QE type thing. But ends up working out. And here, you can even go for a double chain here, right?
Yeah, I think here I was scared of Kha'Zix, if I remember correctly. Because I have no wards, no vision, like anywhere. I was afraid of Kha'Zix just jumping on me when I dash forward.
Right.
Like, jumping on me.
Okay. Okay, looks like Kha'Zix's bot side. Looks like a bit of a 3v3. Okay. Now, ideally in situations like this, what you really want to do is you really want to have your distortion active. Oh, man, it just sucks that this is happening like here because ideally you're starting a lot of these fights with empowered distortion, but unfortunately you didn't have it available. Okay. even notice here as well. Notice how you didn't need to just use distortion here. You could just E because he's blind. Like there's no he's walking into you, so you could just EQ. He can EQ R pop and then go back as well.
Yeah. I think I was trying to get really greedy here, going for the double kill. Like you said, I mean, I tried to E Jinx and get the 2.
Yeah, I feel you.
Which, I mean, theoretically ended up working out, but realistically was not the play.
Okay. So I'm definitely seeing a lot here. This is interesting. Okay. So it's a bit of a close game, isn't it? Back and forth. Wave is in a good spot. You get a nice little shot down onto the Kha'Zix, which is great. Beautiful. So even, again, same thing. No fear. Boom. You can. I mean, there's so many trades you can do right now because your Luden's actually killed the range creeps here. So you could have actually stayed. You could have gone for like an EQR combo or anything like that. Many combos you could have done there just for a chunk. You got to remember some of the best LeBlancs, when you watch them play, they're always using their R just for lane control. Like they're not going to kill them, but they'll just chunk. Just go for a really nice chunk in lane. Don't get in the habit of holding your R too much. It can be quite a disaster.
Yeah. Speaking of disaster, yeah, this was will appear in my nightmares, I think, this play.
It's a little bit of a blunder again, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. This is what I named the VOD after on YouTube.
Right, yeah, blundered lead. Okay, got you. That's okay. Okay, let's skim forward a little bit. I'm definitely seeing a lot of interesting information here. Lovely. Nice E, man. Really nice E there. I think it would have been smarter for you to actually just kill the Kha'Zix there, though. Like, as soon as Kha'Zix started going on to you, I think you have to turn and, like, E the Kha'Zix right there. And you can actually keep the... You can actually keep the tether on the E just by following. If he jumps away, you W, and then you could, you know, keep the tether and maybe finish him off.
Yeah, definitely. I think I tunneled on the Vex too hard here and trying to help my bot lane in the bottom side of the fight.
Okay. Interesting. We get the Malphite R though, which is good. So a little bit of a tunnel there. You're still in an okay position, a very back and forth game. Yeah, I mean, I guess that combo works. Yep, that's fine. Maybe you could have done them, like, separated them a little bit, such that you maximize, because you kind of casted them at a similar time, but not too bad. I think it's pretty solid. All right.
Yep.
This guy disrespects you as well. Beautiful. Short trade. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And we get mid tower. That's really, really nice. Okay, map's opened a little bit. Vi ends up killing the Jinx. They get bot tower as well. Here we go. So let's get a little look into your mid game. So we're, you know, definitely heading into mid game here. Bot lane got their tower. You've got a beautiful win con through this. You know, I think it's going to be largely you, Vigar, and Kindred by the looks of things.
Yeah.
Right, because Kindred has to be here because he's the only AD, right? So definitely going to need him. So here you definitely want to be starting to go to the side lane, right?
Yeah, that's something I almost never do. Like, I almost never do sideline. I think it's one of my biggest weaknesses is I focus way too much on just, like, I'm the mid laner, I go mid, right?
Right.
I have a hard time thinking about positioning elsewhere.
Interesting. Okay.
Which I think that's a bad habit formed from, like, Norm's games with my friends.
Right.
Because I'll play, like, 4 and 5 mans, like, every single day with my friends, basically. And in that, I just... You know, the top laner stays top, the bot laner stays bot.
Right, yeah. Because everyone's just kind of chilling, right? Like, no one's really try-harding lane assignments and stuff like that. Gotcha. Yeah, so in a perfect world, what would really happen is that you start to go to the side lane, you ask for hover from the Kindred, and then your Vigar and your Nami just kind of chill mid and get a bunch of prio. Because ideally, you're not versing the Jinx Lily mid lane.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we get surprised and caught off guard by the Vex, but Silas kind of cleans up a little bit. Okay, so in terms of win conditions, right? I mean, a few things you've got to keep in mind. That is the third dragon, so you want to make sure that we're fighting that dragon. As long as you group up, though, I think you guys just win team fights. You win skirmishes and team fights.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you're there for the fights and we fix the lane assignments, and we should be all good. Like, ideally, what the lane assignments here is that, I mean, again, Vigar and Nami coming mid for this dragon. Lovely. Wow, and you get the Malphite. Oh, it's so big. That's really, really big. So your skirmishing is not bad, man. Your skirmishing is okay. Like, and I mean, so that makes sense, right? Because skirmishing is mostly intuition.
Exactly. I think it's probably my like single biggest strength in League overall is just like winning scrappy fights off like being comfortable on my champs.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good strength to have, man. A lot of people do struggle with that. It's a good strength to have. By the way, just in these situations, if you can, like, I mean, I know it hasn't been many situations where you can use it, and I talk a lot about it because it's such an important combo. It's the bread and butter LeBlanc combo. Is that you nearly always want to have your distortion ready and available in these situations. Like, ideally, like here, instead of using your chain, you actually just want to have your distortion R available. Such that in these fights, you'd be starting with R distortion and then going, and then that gives you so much more flexibility with your combo usage. Something to keep in mind.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something I used to think about more, like in previous times playing LeBlanc that I've missed in a long time of not playing her.
So, I mean, same thing. I mean, who's your biggest win con, right? It's Vigar and probably playing around Vigar and Kindred.
Yeah.
So, where's Kindred and where's Vigar? And so, sure, you can get the flash, but then you ping him back, because where's your team? They're top.
Yeah.
You don't want this to be an extended skirmish. And then this is, in a way, compensation. And then we get for it. Okay. So what I'm trying to do here, I just want to get a vague look at your mid-game, because I think there's a lot of stuff we do need to work on here in the early part. Alright, your team somehow clean up when you're dead and go for a Baron. Got to be a little bit careful here. You don't really want to... You want to be careful with the play you make because your team is reset. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, so this is just like setting up, trying to get Kindred her mark, and then kind of finding a play there.
Yep. Nice. 4-1. Excellent. Pretty straightforward. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's very rare that you're going to straight end for the Nexus. Whenever you get this into him, just go straight to the next lane.
Yep.
Because you're not going to kill 2 towers at once. You don't have a big enough wave. So right now you should just be walking bot. And then they overcommit. And then you're still trying to end. You got to stop this. You're not going to end here. You just get the second in him. Like, it's very, very rare you're going to be able to end. And a lot of people do it just because they're so desperate to end the game. Like, oh my god, I gotta end the game. We're at the Nexus, you know? But no, it's going to lose you a game. Alright, so we're all staying. Everyone's overstaying, sitting on a metric ton of gold. We end up getting pushed all the way out. We lose a lot of our control. They get a bounty topside. Let's take a look. Game still looks fine, though, even after that. Vigar's getting a little bit cocky. But is Vigar doing a lot of work. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's a fine line between compensation and helping your team at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because you don't really want this, but, you know, Vigar's walking in. So you got to kind of help. He's the win con. So I don't really mind this one. It's a little bit annoying, but, you know, there's not too much you can do about it. Ideally, we waited for the Silas and the Kindred, but we were going one by one, and it's and it's rough. So I wouldn't worry. That's a little bit of noise. I'd kind of leave that one for now.
Yeah.
I just want to kind of look at the last fight here. Looks like we're doing a mid to bot or something like that. Ideally, we're playing 2 lanes. Lovely. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Alright. Then we try to siege. They wombo combo. We all die. Alright. Not really important. So, what I've noticed, like we said, to recap, you're a very intuitive player. I'd say, you know, that's quite common. Just based off how people get better at the game. If you play a lot of the game, you're going to refine your intuition. It does mean that you are likely going to be able to climb faster than a lot of players, usually, if you can actually get that review process sorted and make sense of what is actually happening. So the biggest thing what we need to work on together is, okay, number one, we need to work on your matchup understanding. We also need to work on how to actually review, like how to actually get more sophisticated in your thinking about the game. That's the most important thing. Like, set you up with a really nice process so you know exactly how to break down situations. And then we also probably need to touch on a little bit about win conditions and how this ties in, and maybe a little bit about macro. But I don't really want to go too deep on mid game for now, because I think right now this entire like first 15 minutes, it's a lot of it isn't replicable. Right? Some of it is, but we need to know what is and what isn't replicable. That's the most important thing. So, taking a step back here, so we're online about my theory about climbing is that gold is about understanding what your champion does, your champ identity, as well as the fundamentals of lane. And what I mean by that, the fundamentals specifically, that's like warding, that's leaning, that's like how to get a good quality reset. You know, basic tempo assessment, just the real basic lane stuff, as well as your, you know, like I said, your champ's identity. What platinum is this plus understanding what the enemy, how the enemy champ works. Like, so it's not just about you and your champ, it's about you versus the enemy champion. Okay, and so when you come into a lane, you can't just blindly think about what you want to do. You got to take into account what, in this case, the Vex wants to do, and that's going to allow you to have a much more reliable, consistent time during your solo queue experience. Now the question is, how do we do it? How do we actually improve both simultaneously our matchup understanding and make sense of our intuition? So what I would do is I'll start to do this. You have to listen to your intuition. It's very important. So a lot of the time when you're playing this game, and I'm assuming when you review it, there's moments in this lane where you're like, that felt, like from a feeling, really good. And there's going to be other moments where you look at it and that just felt shit. Like, I felt really uncomfortable. To get honest, there's many emotions that you can feel. You can feel uncomfortable. You can feel lost. You can feel nervous. You can feel, and that this is kind of ties into threatened. Like, you feel like you could just die at any moment. That's a very common one. You can also feel, and it's like just something's off. Like, something's not right. These are all just certain emotions that you're probably going to feel, and you probably do feel, you know, on a game-to-game basis. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So what you need to do, man, is that you need to go to the moments in the game that feel good and feel bad, and reverse engineer why that is the case. Now, let's go into this one. So, a few things. When you're reviewing your lane, and when you're trying to understand a matchup, you need to look at what made the trade go well. Now, look, it can be a little bit tricky in the sense that, like, will this trade work against a Vex that starts W? Probably not. But that's fine, because you're only going to change your behavior when you get punished. So you might look at this, oh, that worked well as a level 2 trade, really simply put. And then you might go to your level 2 and be thinking, oh, interesting, I actually took a good level 2 trade. Oh, wow, why did that work? Oh, he allowed me to get up into Q range. He didn't have his W available. Like, you can start to really get specific and just observe. And this process, it's not about judging what you do. It's about observing what you do. You can't, and at the start when you're looking through it, sometimes you're actually not even going to be able to figure it out. You might look at it and be like, I just don't know, Curtis. Like, I don't know whether this trade was good or bad. I don't know whether or not this was replicable. And that's okay. That's also very normal. But I want you to go to the moments that were definitely good and the moments that were definitely bad and look at why that was the case. So you might look at a trade here. I mean, it looks like you took a pretty bad trade somewhere here. And then I'll look at what happened. So let's take a look at this one. So we took this level 2 trade, but then we turned around. We allowed Vex to proc the passive. And then we walked up when we didn't have our W available, took another E and another auto. So then you might think, oh shit, I actually got to be careful when my W's down. Why am I giving him free auto attacks with the passive auto? Because your W procs the passive, right? The Vex passive. So you start to observe, oh, interesting. Okay, that's something I got to keep in mind for next time. Now here again, oh, okay, this trade was actually okay. I just missed my E. Okay, I'll keep an eye on that. Just observe, observe, observe. And then you'll start to realize things and you'll start to realize trends. Oh, I'm actually missing a lot of my E's. Why am I rushing my E's? Oh, interesting. I'm not factoring in her fear. Now, what you'll do during this process, you're going to start to see things that are definitely good, like wave states that definitely feel good and wave states that definitely feel bad. You're going to start to see trades that definitely feel good, definitely feel bad. Now, the next step of this journey, I mean, this was a beautiful trade here. What made this one great? Again, no fear on the Vex. Beautiful E auto procced the Electro. That was a very, very nice trade. But then we compare it later on with a really awkward wave state, right? That felt, I think it felt really bad. Like here, looking at it, I think it was later on. I think it was around here. Where was it? This felt really awkward this wave state, didn't it? Like just looking at it, it feels more awkward, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Right? But that's not because that you need to listen to that. It's like, oh, okay, I feel, and to get more specific, you feel threatened because you don't have vision, right? So then, if this were my vote, I'm thinking to myself, well, why is the wave in this position? Is there anything I could have done? Could I ward? Could I be leaning on a certain side? Or is there a way that I could have fixed this lane state? Could I have stood in the middle of the lane to maybe get it back out to my side to bait Vex to shove me in? Or could I maybe one-shot the wave and try to fix it in? You know, get it in. Again, just observing. Now, the second part of this entire process, right? You're going to go over your first, 8 minutes. And you're going to make some observations, just in your mind. Make some observations. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go onto YouTube. And you're actually going to, and you can do the same thing with the MLA, but go onto YouTube and type in LeBlanc versus Vex. And just click on 2 or 3 VODs and just skim through the first 8 minutes. Observe. What do they do? What are the similarities? What are the differences? Look for wave state differences. Look for trading pattern. How do they use their ability specifically? Get granular. Are they holding their E? Are they ever using W? How are they using the E? What are they doing? Are they heavy trading at all? What does the Vex do differently compared to the Vex that happened here? Observe. Observe, ideally, 2 or 3. And then what you'll see, you should theoretically see some major differences. Now, inevitably, at this time, what's going to happen is you're going to start to think to yourself, fuck, I actually don't know. I'm still confused. I don't get it. Something missing here. And then that's where the MLA comes into play. That's where you can go into the league chat channel. You can at LeBlanc mains, say, what do you, into Vex in this wave state, like, or what do you like to do into Vex? What sort of trades do you look for? Or what wave states you like into Vex? Or what should I be looking for when I verse Vex? Or how should I be using my R? Or how should I be playing Pro 6? Or you might have a clip, a very specific moment. You put that into the clips channel. Now, when you do this over and over and over again with your matchups, you start to get granular in the first 8 minutes. A few weeks, a month in, you're going to start to have a very sophisticated understanding of how LeBlanc wins lane and how LeBlanc takes good trades. And the great thing about this is that it's not like the things you learn from the Vex matchup are purely related only to Vex. There's a lot of overlap, man. This process, you'll start to see trends. It's like any champ that has a self-peel ability. Well, then you might have see the same trends between melee champs that can't thin waves. Or like you'll see a lot of similarities between Kiana and Fizz lanes and Silas lanes. And then you'll see a lot of similarities between Victor lanes and Ori lanes and Syndra lanes. It's all similar. So you don't actually have to learn every single matchup. You're just going to see the similarities. And once you get comfortable with this is what allows you to bridge the gap between intuition and understanding where that intuition, where these feelings actually come from. Because you have a lot of this information in your mind. It's in there. You just don't understand where it's coming from. Because for you to feel something, the game is sending you information. It's just subconscious. Like you just don't know what your brain is processing, what it isn't. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think this is actually really cool because this is a totally different way of approaching learning stuff. I like this because it's learning from what I already know but can't put into words and kind of solidifying it.
Because you're not gonna be able to figure it out just by looking at it and studying it. You're just not. You have to use your emotions. That's the tool here. That's your feeling. Now this should over time. I mean, this shouldn't take too long, man. Like this process should take 10 minutes tops. 7 to 10 minutes tops. Getting into it because you'll start to realize straight away. Oh, I fucked this lane at level 3. Like I fucked my lane at level 3, or I'm rushing my E's completely. You'll start to see trends. Now, look, after the first, you might even realize after a few days of doing it, you can laser focus on specific things. Like you can laser focus on your E usage. You could laser focus on your wave management. Things like that. Right? Once you see the trends, based off the trends. Now, I think that's going to be like the majority of your focus at least for the first 2 or 3 weeks. Like I want to see where that gets you and what challenges you face and what confuses you. I want you to go through that process. Then, at a very baseline level, just to give you a little bit of direction in mid-game, what I would urge you to do is I would urge you to really get out of your comfort zone and start to side lane. In the sense that once that bot lane breaks, start thinking about getting into the side lane. Now, even if you completely butcher it and you fuck it up, you're not there for fights, you die on the side, we're going to see what is wrong. And like, that's going to give us more learning. Like, have a go, have a crack, as we say on the BBC. Have a crack. And you'll see very soon, or we will see very soon, what you don't understand about it. And what's not clicking. Because right now, it's hard for me to understand what you do and don't understand mid-game wise, because you're not really making a decision. You're kind of just walking around the map.
Yeah.
So when it comes to improving upon most aspects of the game, specifically mid-game, I just want you to have a hypothesis. Like you might think, well, if I can go top because that's the next, there's a rift there. They got that tower, etc. Or I need a group here because my team's grouping. Or, as long as you make a hypothesis, I couldn't care less what it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And just have that for now. And then, see where this takes you for the next 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. And then I want to see you asking questions, LeBlanc specific questions. I want to see you. And then, now, one little thing I want to clarify here. This is like something that I've really, spent time trying to figure out over time as a coach, right? Some people get it, and I really struggle to articulate it, but when you're playing League, you don't think, like you simultaneously think and you don't think about what you're doing. Like you need to think coming in about what your strategy, like what you want to do with the waves, right? But you don't really think about trades. So like, what I think I really want to conserve with you, or like just hold on to, is I want to hold on to that intuition. You've got a beautiful amount of intuition. What I'm hoping is that through this incremental studying of matchups and putting the pieces together, making sense of what working isn't working. Sorry, there's like a lot of music outside. Sorry, it's just so loud. Yeah, it stopped. What I'm hoping is that naturally it changes your underlying intuitive response. So let's just say you notice that you keep shoving waves when you should be pulling waves and calling for ganks, which is a very common LeBlanc problem. Like one of LeBlanc's biggest strengths is you want the wave on your side so you can set up ganks. Now, over time, if you see this and you recognize it in a problem in your reviews, theoretically, you should intuitively make the appropriate adjustments. That would be the goal. That's the key. That's the goal. The goal is that you actually change your intuition, your intuitive responses. Not using like fear, not using actual thinking. That's the goal. So, That's why it's a long-term process. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So that's the goal. So have a go at this. If you run into any roadblocks, let me know. And do you have any questions?
No, I don't think so. I think that covered pretty much like exactly everything I was looking to get out of this first session.
Beautiful. Looking forward to seeing how you progress, man.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll try to keep you updated if I have any noticeable progress
Brilliant.
in some of the chats and stuff.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
All right.